The Wings. Good job, Katai. Great stuff. Amazing. Mwah. Hello. Welcome to Marshmellow Reads. I'm Marcy, and today I'm going to finally be able to tell you about my favorite books that I read in 2021. I originally wanted to get the best and worst books of 2021 videos out before the end of the year, but I unexpectedly had to self-isolate for that reason for a good 10 days, and I couldn't leave my bedroom much, so I couldn't really film or do much of anything. It did give me a lot of time to read, and that was nice, but it's nice to finally be able to make these specific videos because this is my favorite thing to think back over the year and think about the high points and the low points. That one is coming later in the month. But first I'm going to talk about my favorites. So this is a vague order of least best to most best. I know for sure what my number one was from this year, but everything else can probably be shuffled around a bit. I'm going to start with an honorable mention, number 11, Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde. It still holds up. I think it's been a good almost 10 years since I first read it, but I loved it maybe even more the second time around. It was a bit slow in the beginning, but to me it was well worth it, and I think the characters are great. The dialogue is great if you enjoy dry English wit. It had a fun world, a nice mystery. Check it out if you want. And on to my actual list. First is number 10, The Electric State by Simon Stålenhag. This book has absolutely gorgeous illustrations. They are dirty and run down and apocalyptic, and it's a story about a girl and her robot just trying to find her brother across this California wasteland, and it's just, I'm trying to think. This one, I think it gives a pretty good overall impression of the art style here. I loved it, and I still have to check out the other TV show adaptation of a different book of his, but this really stayed with me, and I love it, and I'm so happy I have it in hardcover. It's gorgeous. Number 9 is All You Need Is Kill by Ryusuke Takeuchi. This is a manga adaptation of an original story by Hiroshi Sakurazaka, and the story itself is what the movie Edge of Tomorrow is based on, so it's a time loop sort of deal. And this world is desperately trying to defend itself from invading aliens, and we follow a soldier who is in Japan, who is about to see his first day in combat, but because of his inexperience and the enemy's frightening speed and strength, he dies. Yeah, he's dead in the first chapter. But then he wakes up and is back in his cot the morning before the battle, and yeah, we got a time loop, baby! This book was so much fun, with a driving pace and intense fight scenes. Number 8 is Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This is a story of a grumpy middle-aged man named Wallace Price who is guided to a cute tea shop in a small village where he meets a man named Hugo. Hugo is both the tea shop owner and the ferryman who helps souls cross to the other side after they die. And also, he's very hot. But the thing is, Wallace isn't ready to give up on his life. He wants to go back and redo some things. He has some regrets, And this is a very sweet book with a cute romance and a great group chemistry between the characters. And I'm thinking about it again as I'm playing through the game Spiritfarer. It's so cute. It's heartfelt, nothing too dramatic, I guess, but I had fun with it. At number 7, I have Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. This was a tough read, mostly because it gave me so much anxiety. Andrew, for the love of God, please just go meet with your grad advisor and go to your classes. It's not that hard. Just please make an effort. It hurts. But understandably, he's going through some tough times. His best friend Eddie just died by an apparent suicide, and he just started this American history grad program at Vanderbilt. And he's basically picking up where Eddie left off in his research, researching local folklore to maybe figure out why they both can see ghosts. So it is a ghost story. It is queer, fantasy, mystery. It was also very messy, very heartbreaking, and pretty gay. I loved it. Next I have at number 6, The Good House by Tananarive Due. This was a great horror novel about a haunted house and a crushed family. Angela Toussaint is trying to put her life back together after the suicide of her young son. And she ends up going back to the family home where the death took place, hoping to find any sort of answers, to what happened. And she ends up discovering a terrifying force of evil responsible for a recent string of violent acts among the locals in that town. I was gripped from the very start of this book. It is so spooky, and just from the first few pages, it's going to be pretty intense and fun. I loved the story. I loved the ending. I was not expecting the ending, but I loved it. It was pretty incredible. I cannot recommend it enough, especially to horror lovers. Please check it out. At number 5, I have A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is a calm and meditative novella about a non-binary tea monk who is searching for a purpose in their life. And along the way, they encounter a robot, which is actually pretty weird because robots as a whole in this world have kept to themselves ever since they decided to stop working for humans. They just up and left us, And it was just so cute and so wholesome. I can't wait for the sequel that's going to come out later this year. Number 4 is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book in the completed Poppy War trilogy. Whoa, I love this book. I gave this and The Burning God, the third book, 5 stars this year, but I like this one a bit better. There were so many good character moments between Rin and Kitai, Rin and Vanka, and of course Rin and Naja. And the wings. Good job, Kitai. Great stuff, amazing. Mwah. I don't do a lot of rereads, but I could totally see myself picking up The Dragon Republic one more time just to read this one. Not necessarily reading the whole trilogy, but specifically reading this one. Excuse me while I go cry a little bit. It was it was really good. Number 3 is Anne of Green Gables, a graphic novel adapted by Maria Marsden and illustrated by Brenna Thumler. This is just amazing. It is the equivalent of a wholesome flavor bomb. It is perfect. It is perfect. It is perfection. I loved all the outfits, loved all the just general artwork and illustration. Anne herself as a character is just so wonderfully adorable and adventurous and fun to read about. And all the natural scenescapes are just to die for. I want to live in this world. I would miss video games and just the internet and stuff, but I want this. At number 2, I've put A Lot's Away by Darcy Little Badger. This is a fantasy young adult novel with an indigenous main character, Ellie A Lot's Away, who has the power to raise the ghosts of dead animals, including her cute Springer Spaniel dog. It's adorable. And the world itself is also really interesting. It feels very much lived in, and it's similar to our contemporary world, but with the addition of magic and monsters. And there's also a murder mystery going on that was both entertaining and also interesting to follow and unravel. I was able to make educated guesses about where the story was going and with the hints that it was dropping, and the ending reveal was pretty satisfying. And lastly, number 1, I have On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. I just can't stop thinking about this book. I would very much like to own a physical copy of it so I can give it a proper reread. Oh, so good. So the story is about Mia, who just I don't know if she just graduated high school or what, but she just joined the crew of this spaceship whose job it is to repair and renovate old buildings just throughout space. But Mia's main goal is actually to track down her long lost love from the boarding school that she was at, and she was never able to give this love of hers a proper goodbye. So she wants to track her down and finally have that closure. This book is very queer and very heartfelt, and just the art is absolutely stunning. Like, I would absolutely get prints of some of these individual panels to put up on my wall. They're gorgeous. And the ship's crew was such a good found family, which is one of my favorite tropes. And wow, yeah, I love this book. I love it. And maybe you will too, or maybe you'll just like it. But I think it's going to be a worthwhile read. Okay, that covers it. That is my favorite 10 reads of this past year. I'm very much looking forward to what I get to read next year. I've already have a couple favorites. Like there's one book that I started in 2021 and I'm about to finish in January that might end up being my new #1 of like all time. I cannot wait to tell you about it. But yeah, this is gonna be a good year, I think, at least for reading. I have no guarantees about anything else. It's fine. Okay, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked this video, consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Do something nice for yourself, do something nice for others, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!